Ankita Robin and welcome to SG Global News. From an Indian court's decision to allow Christian communities to pray freely in line with the rights guaranteed under the Constitution to a declaration by the bishops of Japan calling for the abolition of nuclear weapons, we have many stories to cover. Christians in Uttar Pradesh have welcomed a key ruling by the Allahabad High Court which directed state authorities to consider requests for prayer meetings strictly in accordance with the law. The June 20th order came in response to complaints from Christians who say local officials routinely deny them permission to worship. The court reaffirmed that India's constitution guarantees the right to practice one's faith so long as it does not disturb public order.
Christians in Uttar Pradesh have welcomed a recent Allahabad High Court order directing state authorities to consider requests for prayer meetings and decide them as per the law. The June 20th ruling came in response to petitions filed by the community who alleged that local officials were routinely denying them permission to gather for worship, sgnews reported. A two-judge bench observed that holding religious meetings is not against the law and affirmed that the Indian Constitution grants every citizen the right to practice their faith as long as it does not disrupt public order. Pastor Sukesh Kumar, one of the petitioners, told sgnews on June 23rd that he was compelled to approach the law after police refused approval to conduct services on legally registered premises. He said there was a high risk of being falsely accused of religious conversion, leading to arrest without proper investigation. Pastor Joy Matthew, who supports persecuted believers, called the order a significant step forward. He said it enables believers to legally challenge arbitrary denials by officials who often cite unfounded claims of conversion or threats to religious harmony. The state, governed by the BJP, has recorded over 400 anti-conversion cases since 2021, none of which were proven. Christians comprise less than 0.5% of Uttar Pradesh's population of over 200 million.
As the victims of the suicide bombing at Mar Elias Greek Orthodox Church in Damascus were laid to rest, Pope Leo XIV sent a telegram expressing his deep condolences to those who lost loved ones. His message served as a source of consolation for the hundreds affected by the horrific attack which the Syrian government has attributed to the Islamic State. Pope Leo XIV offered condolences and prayers for the victims and their families of the suicide bombing at St. Elias Church in Damascus, Syria. In a telegram sent on June 24th, the Pope stated that he was deeply saddened at the loss of life and destruction caused by the attack. According to Vatican News, in a message signed by the Vatican Secretary of State Cardinal Pietro Parolin, the Holy Father expressed his wholehearted solidarity with everyone impacted by the tragedy. The Pope commended the souls of the deceased to the loving mercy of the Heavenly Father. He also extended his prayers for those who mourned their loss, for the recovery of the injured, and invoked the Almighty's gifts of consolation, healing, and peace among the nation. Meanwhile, the funeral service and memorial for the souls of the victims of the terrorist attack was held on Tuesday, June 24th, at the Holy Cross Church in the Kasa district of Damascus. The ceremony was officiated by the Patriarch of Antioch, and the bodies were taken to St. Elias Church in Douala, where additional prayers were offered before burial at the cemetery. According to France 24, a little-known Sunni Muslim extremist group, Saraya Ansar al-Sunnah, claimed responsibility on Tuesday for the suicide attack against the church, while the Syrian government insisted they were part of the Islamic State. The DC-5 may finally be getting justice. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has confirmed that the Department of Justice is investigating the gruesome and potentially illegal late-term abortions of 5 babies. Their remains were discovered in 2022 at the home of a progressive anti-abortion uprising activist who claimed to have received them from whistleblowers alleging the children may have been victims of partial birth abortion or infanticide, both of which are federal crimes. U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi has confirmed that a federal investigation is underway into the deaths of the DC-5, 5 late-term aborted babies recovered from an abortion mill in the nation's capital. During a House budget hearing on June 23rd, Republican Representative Riley Moore of West Virginia asked Bondi whether she would cooperate in conducting a full investigation into the deaths of the so-called DC-5.
General Bondi, will you commit to working with me and this committee to conduct a full and fair investigation into the deaths of these children to ensure justice is served for the DC-5?
Yeah, and Congressman, that is a ongoing investigation and pending, so I cannot discuss that in this forum. But on a collateral matter, the woman who retrieved those 5 fetuses was convicted, and she was pardoned by President Trump. And they were basically unborn babies, is what is alleged in the, but I can't discuss it any further.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Attorney General Bondi. I yield back.
In 2022, police discovered the remains of 5 aborted fetuses at the home of pro-life activist Lauren Handy, a member of the Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising. In an online statement, PAAU claimed the fetuses were obtained from whistleblowers and alleged that the babies may have been victims of illegal partial birth abortions or infanticide, both of which would violate federal law. The Department of Justice under the Biden administration prosecuted multiple pro-life activists, including Handy, under the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act, even though no investigation was held into the deaths of the 5 late-term babies. Handy was later pardoned by President Trump in the first week of his presidency. Following Bondi's confirmation of the ongoing investigation, Kristen Hawkins, president of Students for Life of America, posted on X, quote, "Justice is finally catching up. The pro-life generation doesn't forget," end quote. Pope Francis has confirmed the election of Friar Francisco Ielpo OFM as the new custodes of the Holy Land and guardian of Mount Zion. The announcement was made by the Minister General of the Franciscan Order, Friar Massimo Fussarelli, in a letter to the friars of the custody. As custodes, Father Ielpo will oversee the reception of pilgrims, guide the Franciscan communities across the region, and help sustain the Christian presence in the Holy Land. The Holy Father has confirmed the election of Father Francisco Ielpo OFM as custodes of the Holy Land and guardian of Mount Zion by the Minister General of the Franciscan Orders of Friars Minor, which is definitory. The Minister General, Father Massimo Fussarelli, announced the news in an official letter sent to the friars of the custody of the Holy Land. Father Francisco Ielpo was born in Loria, Italy in 1970. He took his solemn vows in the Franciscan Order of Friars Minor in 1998 and was ordained a priest in 2000. Since 2022, he has held the role of President of the Holy Land Foundation while also serving as delegate of the Custodes of the Holy Land for Italy. Father Francisco Ielpo succeeds Father Francisco Patton, who dedicated 9 years of service to the mission in the Holy Land. In addition to guiding the friars minor living throughout the Middle East, the main task of the custodes is to coordinate and direct the reception of pilgrims who come to the Holy Land for pilgrimage. This task was bestowed by the Holy See over 600 years ago. Another important task of the custodes is to care for and sustain the Christian presence in the Holy Land through various initiatives. In the Holy Land, the custodes is considered one of the main Christian religious authorities. Contemporary Christian music star Ann Wilson, a Dove Award winner, is set to take the stage in front of tens of thousands this summer, opening for country singer Morgan Wallen at 4 major stadium shows. Speaking to Crosswalk Headlines, Wilson said she is thrilled for the opportunity to share her faith with a wider audience. She will perform on July 25th and 26th at Seattle's Lumen Field and on August 1st and 2nd at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara, each venue accommodating over 60,000 fans.
Dove award-winning contemporary Christian music artist Ann Wilson says she's thrilled about her upcoming performances, calling it a chance to share her faith with tens of thousands, she told Crosswalk Headlines. Performing alongside country star Morgan Wallen is a dream come true, Wilson said. She will open for him at 4 stadium shows, July 25th to 26th at Lumen Field in Seattle and August 1st to 2nd at Levi Stadium in Santa Clara. Each venue seats more than 60,000 fans. I love that I can have just a bigger audience to reach people for the gospel, Wilson said, adding that she feels called to take her faith-based music beyond the Christian market. Known for her Christian country crossover style, Wilson rose to fame in 2021 with her hit album My Jesus. She now aims to bridge the gap between Christian and mainstream music by blending Christian teaching-centered lyrics with a distinctly country sound. Wilson recently released a new single, God's Story, and is currently working on her next album, which she describes as her best yet.
Ahead of the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, the Catholic bishops of Japan issued a declaration calling for global nuclear disarmament. They stated that the existence of nuclear weapons poses a grave threat to all life and undermines both human dignity and the integrity of the world. As bishops from the only country to have suffered the consequences of atomic bombings, their words carry particular weight at a time when the world teeters on the brink of another global conflict. The Catholic bishops of Japan, in a joint declaration published on June 20th, called for the complete abolition of nuclear weapons, describing their development, testing, production, possession, and use as ethically impermissible. The declaration comes ahead of the 80th anniversary of the end of the Second World War, which concluded after the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. As the only bishops from a country to have experienced nuclear attacks in wartime, the Japanese bishops expressed a strong moral commitment to ensuring such a tragedy is never repeated. They emphasized that the continued existence of nuclear weapons poses a grave threat to all life, undermining both human dignity and the integrity of the world God created to be very good. The bishops also highlighted the suffering caused by nuclear testing and uranium mining, deeming these practices ethically indefensible. Arguing against the logic of nuclear deterrence, the bishop stated that it fails to resolve conflicts and instead traps the world in a dangerous security dilemma that should not be tolerated. In their call for global nuclear disarmament, the bishops affirmed their commitment to share the reality of the atomic bombings, stand in solidarity with national and international movements advocating for abolition, support the treaty on the prohibition of nuclear weapons, and pass on the philosophy of peace to future generations. Their declaration comes amid rising tensions in the Middle East, with Israel and Iran exchanging strikes following Israel's attack on Iran's Natanz nuclear facility. That's all for today. Until we meet again, God bless and thank you.